After winning the NCAA tournament in 1985 over top-seeded Georgetown, Villanova experienced a down period. From 1986 to 2000, they made it to the NCAA tournament 8 times, but failed to make it back to the Sweet 16 in each appearance. Villanova decided that enough was enough and a change was needed. They went back to their roots and in 2001 hired Jay Wright, who at the time was the head coach at Hofstra and was formerly an assistant coach at Villanova. Before Jay Wright, Villanova didn't produce any postseason success, nor did they produce any NBA talent. From 1986 to 2001, there were 9 Villanova alumni who played regular season basketball in the NBA, with the most notable being Kerry Kittles and Tim Thomas. Since Jay Wright has taken over, Villanova has made the NCAA tournament 13 times, winning it 2 times in 2016 and 2018, and has seen 14 of his players play in the NBA, including the likes of Kyle Lowry and Josh Hart. For the first time in over 15 years, Villanova had a lottery selection in Mikal Bridges. But how did we get here? Today, we will be looking at how Jay Wright transformed Villanova from a Cinderella team to a dominant basketball force. When Jay Wright took over in 2001, Villanova was fresh off of back-to-back NIT appearances. They had even won the NIT in 1993, but that was the biggest postseason success that Villanova would have until Wright arrived. The first 3 seasons were difficult, as Villanova were only able to qualify for the NIT, but they did make it to the quarterfinals on 3 occasions. Everything would change in the 2004-2005 season, where Villanova would go 24-8 and reach the NCAA tournament for the first time under Jay Wright. As the number 5 seed, they would go on to beat New Mexico in their first game and Florida in their second game to set up a date with number 1 ranked UNC. In the previous win against Florida, star forward Chris Sumter was injured and will not be able to play against North Carolina. Villanova was counted out by many as a result, but they fought and almost upset UNC, only to fall short in a 67-66 loss. The 2005-2006 season would be a turnaround for the Villanova program. Led by guards Randy Foye, Allen Ray, and Kyle Lowry, Villanova started the season ranked number 4 in the country and would finish the season at 28-5. They defeated 5 ranked teams in the regular season, which included number 1 ranked Connecticut. They would be rewarded with the number 1 seed in the Minneapolis Regional of the NCAA tournament, where they would defeat number 16 seed Monmouth, number 8 seed Arizona, and number 7 seed Boston College before they lost in the Elite 8 to Florida. That offseason, they lost Randy Foye, Allen Ray, and Kyle Lowry to the NBA, and as a result, the 2006-2007 season did not produce as much success, as Villanova finished at 22-11 and lost to Kentucky in the first round of the tournament. They did, however, have a strong recruiting class this season, which was ranked as high as number 14 on Rivals and included a 6-foot point guard by the name of Scotty Reynolds. The following year, they got 2 5-star recruits in Corey Fisher and Corey Stokes, who would help them out in the 07-08 season, where Villanova would make it to the Sweet 16 as the 12th seed before losing to Kansas. The 08-09 season would be the most successful year in Jay Wright's tenure to date. They finished the regular season at 26-7 and would be rewarded with an at-large bid as a 3rd seed in the East region. They beat American and UCLA, where they would then face Duke in the Sweet 16. They won that game 77-54 and set up a game with fellow Big East rival Pittsburgh in one of the most memorable games in Villanova history. This would be the first opportunity for Villanova to make it back to the Final Four since 1985. They had already beaten Pittsburgh earlier in the season, but they had improved a lot since then and were the number 1 seed in the East. Villanova and Pittsburgh battled all game and for the final 2 minutes traded shots and leads. With 10 seconds to go, Villanova had possession and a 76-74 lead. They inbound the ball deep down court where it was turned over. Pittsburgh raced up the court and guard Levance Fields was fouled with 6 seconds to go. He would make both free throws and the game was tied at 76. With 5.5 seconds left, Villanova inbounded the ball to forward Dante Cunningham, who quickly passed to guard Scotty Reynolds. Reynolds raced down the floor and made a contested layup to give Villanova a 78-76 victory in their first final appearance since 1985. They would then have to play number 1 seed North Carolina from the West region, led by Tyler Hansbrough and Ty Lawson. They would unfortunately lose this game 83-69. The next 4 years following that Final Four appearance would be disappointing for Villanova, as they would not only miss the tournament in one of those years, but they also couldn't get past the second round of the 3 seasons that they did make it. In 2009 and 2010, they played a close game against Robert Morris before they were upset by St. Mary's. In 2010 and 2011, they lost to George Mason. In 2011 and 2012, they finished 13-19 and missed all postseason play. In 2012 to 2013, they lost to North Carolina. Over these 4 seasons, they still were able to recruit a lot of talent, with guys like Ryan Arcidiacono, Darren Hilliard, Daniel Chefu, and Javon Pinkston joining the program. After the 2012 to 2013 season, the Big East Conference transformed. They lost schools like Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and UConn, who Villanova had memorable games against, and were replaced with teams such as Creighton and Butler. The conference now had 10 teams, as many of the members left for the AAC or the ACC. Since the new Big East was created, Villanova has dominated the conference. They have won the conference regular season or postseason tournament in every single season since 2013. In the 2013-2014 season, Villanova started off the year unranked. This was quickly changed after Nova upset number 2 ranked Kansas in the battle for Atlantis. They would win this regular season tournament and go on to finish the regular season at 28-4 and receive the number 2 seed in the East region. They would go on to beat number 15 seeded Milwaukee, but were upset by number 7 Connecticut. It was disappointing for Villanova to lose this game as they had such a great season, but this was the most success they've had since they reached the Final Four. This season they also had guard Josh Hart and forward Chris Jenkins make their debuts for the team. The 2014 to 2015 season saw 2 other players make their debuts for the program, Mikal Bridges and Phil Booth. This season Villanova got out to a 13-0 start and finished the season at 32-2, winning the Big East regular season and tournament titles. They were ranked highly by many and seen as the number 1 team in the nation. They received the 1 seed ranking in the East region where they defeated Lafayette, but then fell to North Carolina State after Darren Hilliard couldn't make a last-second 3. This was a huge disappointment for the program. 2 seasons in a row, they were among the top-ranked seeds in their respective brackets, and 2 straight years they were bounced before the Sweet 16. Many people call Jay Wright and Villanova frauds and overrated. The next season, Jay Wright would finally put his doubters to rest. The 2015-2016 season saw 3 key players leave, Darren Hilliard, Javon Pinkston, and Dylan Ennis, but also saw the addition of many key players. Among them included Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, and Eric Pascal, who couldn't play until the following year. They started off the season 7-0, but were dominated by both higher-ranked Oklahoma and Virginia. They ended off the season at 29-5, but lost the Big East tournament final to Seton Hall. After losing to multiple top-ranked teams throughout the season, and after coming up short again in the Big East tournament, Villanova was once again looked at by many as a pretender. They were given the 2 seed in the South region. They would then follow up with a big 3-game stretch where they defeated UNC Asheville, Iowa, and Miami by a combined 62 points. They then faced Kansas in the Elite 8, where many people counted them out once again. They squeaked by Kansas and won a close 64-59 battle and set themselves up for their first Final Four appearance since 2009. Their opponent, Buddy Hield and the Oklahoma Sooners, who blew them out in a regular season tournament in Hawaii earlier that year. The response to that game, a 95-51 victory. They shot lights out, shooting 71% from the field, while Oklahoma shot 31%, and Buddy Hield was held to a rare 9 points. They were in their first final since 1985, where they were last underdogs against Georgetown. This time, they faced North Carolina, the team that has given Jay Wright problems his entire Villanova tenure. The game was one of the greatest national championship games ever, as it was a very competitive game to the last second. With under 10 seconds left, trailing by 3, North Carolina guard Marcus Page hit a contested 3-pointer to tie the game. Jay Wright took a timeout, and the rest was history.
They go length of the court with Arcidiacono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions.
He had finally won his first national championship, and Villanova captured just their second title. The following season, they began their title defense. After losing Ryan Arcidiacono and Daniel Chefu, many were concerned with how this season would go. This year, they anticipated on 5-star recruit Amari Spellman joining the program, but he was unfortunately ruled ineligible by the NCAA. They ended the regular season at 31-3 and were in prime position to win the tournament again. However, they fell in the 3rd round of the tournament to Wisconsin. The following year, they lost Chris Jenkins and Josh Hart, 2 players who seemed almost irreplaceable. In the 2017 and 2018 season, Xavier took the Big East regular season title, despite Villanova winning both of their regular season matchups. They lost a couple of shocker games, including one to St. John's, but they won the Big East tournament and finished at 30-4. Guard Jalen Brunson won the Wooden Player of the Year, despite losing a couple of winnable games. They were given the number 1 seed in the East region. Once again, they were doubted, and once again, they responded. They would march their way onto a dominating 4-game run, where they defeated Radford, Alabama, West Virginia, and Texas Tech all by more than 10 points. Villanova had a Final Four matchup against Kansas where they were predicted by many to lose. Once the game tipped off, there was hardly a contest. Villanova took control of the entire game after they jumped to an early 22-4 lead and won the game 95-79. They once again reached the final, where this time they would face off against Michigan. Michigan had an early 21-14 lead after the Villanova offense grew stagnant and could not find a basket. Entering sixth man Dante DiVincenzo, who scored 31 points on the night and carried Villanova to their second championship in 3 seasons. After having so many seasons of heartbreak, Jay Wright had done it. He had proved his doubters wrong and won 2 championships in 3 years. He has produced so much talent and has also recruited so much talent, including this season where they added guard Javon Quinterly, Justin Moore, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl. They have also been on the radar of many other 5-star recruits, and the future of Villanova basketball looks brighter than ever. Along the way, he has produced big NBA talents and has even successful European basketball players. As a fan of Villanova basketball, I had my doubts about Jay Wright. I didn't know if we were ever going to win a national championship after we fell short in 2009, and we were upset so many times as the 1 or 2 seed. That 2016 featured one of the best seasons I've ever seen in college basketball and was also one of the best championships I've ever seen in college basketball. Jay Wright may jump ship to the NBA, or he may retire soon, but I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for the university, and thank you for putting us into the spotlight by shocking the entire world. This has been the rise of Villanova basketball. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.